COVID's such an interesting time because I feel like the media changed in so many ways. You're bringing up the suits earlier. And like, I was with CA as my agents for football. And I went to LA. I saw like their Death Star. That's what they call it. And in the music department, nobody wears suits.
Yep.
Because at one point in like the 60s, 70s, or 80s, whenever it was, a band came in that everyone wanted to rep. They came into CA and they were like, you guys are all suits. We can't trust you guys, blah, blah, blah. You guys don't know the brand. You don't know the influence. You're going to try to change us. The next day, they had a meeting, a company-wide meeting saying no one wears suits in the music department anymore because we need these people to know that we're here for them. And then you go fast forward to 2020. You see Pat McAfee start taking off. You see these other podcasts start taking off. You're taking off. It feels to me like the suits of the mainstream society, of mainstream sports media is slowly going away, and the Pat McAfee tank top kind of process is now taking over a little bit. Do you see that happening with ESPN, CBS, and all these other major corporations in the future?
100%. McAfee's like Roger Bannister, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Bannister, up until the point he ran the sub 4-minute mile, lived in a world where people thought, oh, it's humanly impossible.
Yeah.
So up until McAfee gets put on ESPN, even when he was independent, people would have told you, oh, you can't do that stuff on ESPN, though. Well, you always could. It's just someone had to do it. Because once Roger Bannister ran the sub 4-minute mile, then a bunch of other people ran a sub 4-minute mile.
It was like
50 people.
Yeah, it was like 70 the next year, it broke 4 minutes.
Question becomes, did they all just become capable of doing it because Roger did it? Or were a bunch of people capable of it and just had to see it happen?
Mm-hmm.
So similarly, like you've got to be an idiot to not have known that all the while, sports fans who are consuming content are sitting at home looking a whole lot more like that than they are wearing a suit.
They probably don't look that good. That's a
Maybe
very
not.
nice
Maybe
photo
the
of
guy
Pat
back there
McAfee.
holding the Bo Nix sign. But,
Yeah.
but like the point is, again, who are you stacking your show for?
Right.
For a long time, suits, if you want to call them that, just people at the executive level, people with 7-figure earnings and golden parachutes if they fail, they have formatted their content for themselves in lieu of knowing it doesn't matter what we present. They'll consume it because there are no other options. Well, bad news for them when digital media came of age is, well, now there are options. Fully on-demand world. That's the beauty of what you do. It's the beauty of what I do. The audience is in full control. Like you have never accidentally gotten a viewer. Every viewer has intentionally sought out your video, sought out your social feed, sought out your podcast. Same with me. If you're on network TV, you may see me because you're in an airport. Mm-hmm. You may just see me because you're in a barbershop. I happen to be on. And so for a long time, they didn't really have true feedback. What they were doing was working because there was no competition in the marketplace. Now there's competition in the marketplace, and magically you're willing to bend on things like on-air wardrobe. And, you know, people who don't watch sports may say, do you really think that's why Pat McAfee works because of what he wears? No, what he wears is authentic to himself. Mm-hmm. And that's why it works. The same as you, the same as me. It's just that 15 years ago, you weren't allowed to present it that way because someone who really didn't know the audience, but owned the keys to the audience, controlled that. And now they don't. And you find out it really never mattered what you wore on air to begin with.
Yeah.
Great reminder for everybody tuning in right now to subscribe to Bussin With The Boys as you are watching and consuming.
Yeah.
You don't have to exert
As you
energy.
listen to these
You don't have to
bars
run a
being
4-minute
put down.
mile. Just take your thumb, hit that subscribe button.
Just hit the button.
I
That's
love
all
that you brought
gotta
up the Roger Bannister analogy. I feel like I heard that from Tony Robbins, like back in college.
Yeah.
God, I
feel
got
like
to pee
he's big
so
on telling
bad.
go
I
take a
wanna
piss,
keep
buddy.
listening. I'm enjoying it so much.
I will say he had to pee last night on his show, and he had about an hour left, but he was going to fight through for the betterment of the audience.
Dude, I pushed.
Then we'll push.
I was just gonna.
Hey, you know
gonna
what?
put
Give me
that
a
out
water.
there.
Give me a water
just to
as
let
well.
you know, I consumed your
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, you did. That was before or after the Nebraska prediction? I feel like that
believe
was after.
No, that was before.
It was before? Okay.
So I was, not to flex, but I was in my weight room at that point. When I was
Is now the time to get into football, or should we kind of save that for the locker room? Because Pate's going to be on every week during the football season.
But there'll be
college football.
some things that some headlines we can talk
Right.
about. But for everybody watching, our new show, The Locker Room with College Football, with this trio right here, this three-headed monster, will kick off Wednesday evening, where we will be going over all of our futures for the college
I feel like
football.
it's worth the clap.
Worth
Yeah,
the
it's
clap, worth the
absolutely.
clap.
Absolutely. Oh,
Hey.
hey, my water just got here.
Hey, people didn't see this coming.
No, they didn't.
Haters are swinging at the air right now.
Dude, they're
God damn
scrambling.
it, they did it again.
Yeah,
They're scrambling.
they're scrambling
Scrambling.
right now. Is there? I like, dude. I've enjoyed all of this conversation, and I fucking love your thought process. And I wanted to interrupt you, but I feel like everything you explained about what you were feeling to when you were getting up in the big leagues, the CBS, the am I who I say I am, all of those feelings, all of those processes right there. is what we were explaining is I feel like a similar experience that you're explaining walking out into a college stadium or an NFL stadium without just the theatrics and the adrenaline dump. Aside from the adrenaline dump and everything else, that thought process of caring so fucking much about what you do and how hard you work at it and having so much perspective on how you got where you are. And hey, am I who I think I am? There's some I don't knows and some question marks, but I'm willing to jump and go after it with competition, with everything else around. That right there is a mentality that gives, I feel like, the anxieties of everything you do, whether you walk out into a stadium or you're just elevating at your next job or going into your big leagues. So without the stage and everything else, I feel like that is a very similar feeling that every competitor has when like walking out into the arena.
That's the competition. Like it's not, do I get more views than the other dude? That's how I think you define competition.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, everything you were kind of walking through when you got that call, am I this? I'm going to be in. Am I going to own the room? Am I going to feel this way? Can I put my ego at the door because I'm going to be lined up across from so-and-so, or I'm going to be talking on the desk with so-and-so? I feel like all of it is the same mentality because you care so much about your success or your version of success in your world. So I feel like that is the bridging of the gap between the normal person and them seeing somebody at some high level doing it. It's like, no, yours can be there too. It's just how much you're pouring into that process. And when that big break does come, just know that is the feeling that everybody feels of jumping into something they're very uncomfortable about.
When the big break happens, the awesome thing is when you get wired that way, the big break is when you're a kid, you envision it, whatever is going to come of your life. When the big things happen, there's confetti, there's parties, there's slaps on the back. And then when you actually wire yourself the way you have to be wired to even get the break, you're wired in such a way where you celebrate for 10 minutes.
Yes.
And you just, next.
Yeah, because it's not like, unless you're selling a company and retiring.
That's it. That's the difference.
Once you get the big break, whether it's financially or you've achieved
I played one snap in the NFL.
I played one snap in the NFL. It's like you can celebrate. That is a perfect example. You can celebrate for 5 seconds because then there's the second snap coming right there.
Yeah.
But like you get the job you wanted, you get someone's like, hey, you can do this now. You get more money, whatever it is. That's exciting. But then now the work actually has to come in to prove whoever gave you the opportunity right. And that's where it's like you really have no time to go and sit there and be like, look how great I am. It's like you truly have to be on to the next thing. Then it's the whole, when do you reflect, when you look in the rearview mirror and be like, okay, I was able to achieve all this. But then if you do that for too long, now you're losing what's in front of you. It's a very interesting game of balance that needs to take place because there always has to be gratitude. But if you're wired the way we are, it's like, hey, what is the next step towards the end goal, which truly we don't know, which is actually dying. Like you just eventually die, and it's like, how do you do?
That's why I also appreciate.
You get up there, and he pulls out the scroll, and he's like,
"Let's take a look."
Hey, not bad, not bad. Could have done better here, though.
Yeah,
That's why I also appreciated going over the parts where you've said no to a lot of people or said no to some things, because I think another thing that successful people or achievers have a hard time doing of getting the goalpost to stop moving. When you know what I am doing is enough, and I know, hey. Not that you're relaxed and I'm just going to be doing this forever, but this doesn't necessarily tie to what I want to do with my audience or what I want to do in the future. And you're able to say no to those people, which probably does make you more valuable because I'm sure those numbers go up and they're trying to dangle a bigger carrot. One day there'll probably be a carrot to where you can't say no to.
It's a big ass carrot.
Maybe it's the commissioner of college football.
Yeah, or maybe you just grow the garden.
Maybe you just grow the garden.
Hey.
Yeah. Maybe we feed everybody.
Hey, yes. I like that.
Hey,
maybe you just grow the garden.
I saw one, I want to say it was like a stoic meditation. It was like, he who chases 2 rabbits stays hungry. Why not grow the carrots?
Sounds easy. Sounds easy.
Yeah. Sounds easy in theory.
Sounds easy.
You know what? Let's just stop chasing rabbits. Let's just grow the garden.
You know, they have like, when you turn down opportunities though, there is almost like who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Like the audacity.
Yeah. How could you say no to us?
And it's like, well, I mean, do you understand the concept of alignment?
Yeah.
Do you understand the concept of like how that works? I mean, would you put this show on your network? No. Why not? Well, because it doesn't fit our network. You just described why I'm telling you no.
Right.
No hard feelings. Like, that's just why I'm telling you no.
Yeah. But the person who wants to put the square peg in the round hole, dude, it's very difficult when you don't have a whole lot and you're just constantly wanting success and you think more is better as opposed to quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So it's a game, man. It's a game of knowing who you are. And if somebody like you who doesn't know who they are as much as they do, it's like you probably fall into that trap more times than once.
If you're listening right now, okay, if you're watching this right now,
Subscribe.
that's subscribe. Absolutely subscribe.
Subscribe.
Okay, what are you doing here if you haven't?
Yeah.
This is the simplest question. Ask yourself, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
This is a mind bender for a lot of people, because they'll give you their name, or they'll give you their skin color, or their height and weight, or their hometown. That's not who you are. That's the stuff on your driver's license. Who are you? Like, dig the dagger into your chest, cut yourself open. Who are you? What are your talents? What are your passions? What are your likes and dislikes? What are you cut out to do? Like, what is your purpose? All that stuff. If you asked me that at 23, I would have just stammered. Mm-hmm. I know that someone asked me this. I didn't have the answer. It's the same dude who asked me, why would anyone care what you have to say? He asked me, who are you? I didn't know how to answer that. Why would anyone care what you have to say? I didn't know how to answer that, which just meant I wasn't ready yet, which just meant you got years that you still have to put in. Didn't want to hear that at the time. I didn't accept it at the time, but it was a reality at the time. So it doesn't matter if you want to get into media or you want to build a trucking company. Like, who are you? How are you about to go anywhere? How are you about to build anything before you even lay the foundation? That stuff, it messed me up. And when the guy asked me that, those two questions, it messed me up so much. And now, like, years later, I ask that to everybody. When I speak at colleges and stuff, I ask that to everybody.